Yeah. 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 So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit of accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge. They don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like. Wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. My name is Pam Esquire, also known as Your Law Intellect. Thank you so much for all of you guys that have joined us on today. And thank you for all of the new subscribers and all of you that are thinking about subscribing, hopefully today, when you hear this great commentary that I'm about to give you, you go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in, because we got a few things that we are going to get into. I see you guys. I see you guys. Thank you guys so much for supporting. So we thought we were done with Whitehead. But no, remember, if you guys have followed the Bishop Whitehead saga, he got mad. He got mad at folks and he started filing defamation lawsuits, I guess trying to intimidate people. Well, he filed one against none other than Tasha K. He got mad at her about something. He thought that was his homegirl. She reported on him and he got pissed. Okay, he got pissed. He filed a lawsuit. Remember, he had Brian Ponder who was like, you get a lawsuit. He was getting on there, get your paperwork up. Remember, he was going to sue me. Like he was telling everybody, yeah, I'm about to sue Pam too. I'm about to sue her too. So he filed lawsuits. And every time you turn around, you get a lawsuit. You get a lawsuit, no matter how stupid it was. He was just filing lawsuits. Well, apparently he thought that because Tasha K had that case with Cardi B and it didn't go in her favor, he thought that he can just file a lawsuit and put Tasha K's name on it and he was going to automatically win. And what had happened was Tasha K said, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, it won't be a second time. Because she has gotten a law firm that this is what they do is defamation, and they know what they're doing, okay? They know what they are doing. Unfortunately, the first attorney was a defense attorney, and she had to learn that there is a difference between defense and civil, and everybody don't know how to do both. Nonetheless, Lamor Whitehead said, I'm going to file this complaint against Tasha K. And Tasha K was like, bring it. And he filed a defamation lawsuit, and Tasha K responded with a motion to dismiss off rip. She was like, I ain't playing with you. I'm trying to get this dismissed immediately. And we have been lingering, trying to see what the judge, because over there in New York, I don't know what is going on, but they take a long time to like respond to motions. We've been sitting back waiting on this, and I'm really mad that Whitehead is not here for me to talk about this so he can go on live and talk about how bald-headed I am, how I am a failed attorney, all the things he used to say about me, because I really, I would welcome that banter on today between me and him. So it's very unfortunate that he is not here for this commentary that I'm about to give. Because after reading part, I didn't read all of it, of the judge's order. It looks almost like the judge was laughing. Like, did he really? And that's kind of like how I took it. I was like reading the beginning, like, okay, all right. So on today, a order came out where the judge granted fully Tasha K's motion to dismiss. So she has gotten a win against this whole defamation case. Now, for those of you that don't know, that weren't following it, Brian Ponder, who was his attorney that filed a lot of these lawsuits, he actually withdrew from this case back in November. He withdrew from the case and a couple of other cases. He made allegations of Whitehead basically threatening him, and we went over the emails where he tried to get out. Well, the judge just now granted his order on his motion to withdraw up out of this case. So we're going to get into it. Hopefully that's enough background for those of you that aren't familiar. But the judge does give some facts, and so you guys will be able to catch up. Mom's the boss. Thank you so much for being a member for 4 months. I appreciate you. Sonia's, what do you say? Sonia's baddie yay job? Huh? Thank you so much for gifting a membership. I appreciate all the love and all the support. I really do. And thank you for being a member for 2 months. I appreciate that as well. So we're going to get into it, because Tasha got some bragging rights on this one. This was I think the opinion from what I've read so far, a lot of the stuff I'll be reading with you guys for the first time, I think the opinion was a little bit of comical to it. But this is something I want to say to you guys, though, in all seriousness. I really don't understand why people who are bloggers root against people that try to quell your right to freedom of speech. Regardless to how you feel about other people, it's irrelevant when it comes to your freedom of speech. Why? Because these lawsuits, just like Kevin Hart sued her. When he sued her, he immediately mentioned Cardi B. This is what people will start doing. These celebrities are people that you talk about, and this is to all the bloggers and YouTubers. They will try to use this as precedent to try to stop you from saying things that you're not defaming them, but because they have money, they will try to bully you to stop talking about them, even though they thrust themselves in the limelight and they are public figures. Therefore, they are fair game. But they'll do that to people because they'll know, like, it's some bloggers who do this full time, but it's a lot of them that work regular jobs and they don't have money to be fighting lawsuits. And so they'll use this as a way to almost quiet you. So you have to be careful when you start cheering on people getting sued, for defamation, because that's going to fall on you as well. But that's just my little soapbox. I'm going to get into... You said you're bald-headed, but at least you're free. We would have had fun today. I'm telling you, we would have had fun. I'd have got really big. We would have got all the old gang, and we would have just had real, fun. Maybe perhaps... No, he's in federal. He's probably at a camp. I don't think they can get on internet. They only got like email systems, I think. But yeah, so yeah, he may not be able to see this, but maybe somebody will tell him about it. I'm sure somebody will write him a letter and they'll tell him about it, and they'll get a copy of the order maybe sent to him at his new home for the next 9 years. You said you right, sis. That's why I canceled my trip to Minnesota. Thais. For real, like when you're bloggers and YouTubers and this is all joke, that's why I'm like, you guys are fighting yourself. You know how like the old people say, cut your nose, spite your face. Like, why do you cheer this on when you're doing what she's doing? Like, that's just dumb to me. But nonetheless, Let's get into this, honey, because this was some good reading here. It has Lamor Whitehead versus Yellen Entertainment LLC and Latasha K. And y'all pay attention to this intro. I want y'all to listen to this. Plaintiff, formerly a high-profile pastor of an entity known as, quote, Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries, Inc. Plaintiff, formerly they said he used to be a high-profile pastor, brought this defamation action in state court alleging that defendant Latasha K, known professionally as Tasha K, a media personality, blogger, and YouTuber, used her various platforms to broadcast defamatory statements that plaintiff had engaged in financial improprieties and criminal activities. He also claimed that she invaded his right to privacy. Defendants removed the case to federal court based on diversity of citizenship. Presently before me is the motion of Yellen Entertainment, the production company, for defendant K to dismiss for failure to state a claim. The motion is granted for the reasons set forth below. So Yellen has won. So let me back up. I told you guys, basically he's pro se at this point, meaning he represents himself, because Ponder said I'm out, and the judge granted that and allowed him to do so, and said that he's had plenty of time to get another attorney, because Ponder asked to withdraw back in November. We are in August, okay? So the court did let him out. So let's do summary of the facts, summary of the complaint. Plaintiff, who refers himself as, quote, Bishop Whitehead, end quote, is a self-described, quote, dynamic preacher, prophet, teacher, community leader, and entrepreneur, end quote, whose entrepreneur activities include commercial real estate investing. Defendant K is a media personality, quote, earns a living from advertising revenue across her various social media outlets, including Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Collectively, she has nearly 1 million followers. The business entity defendant Yellen Entertainment is an alter ego of K. The complaint alleges that in May 2023, K posted videos on social media that plaintiff contends contain the following 6 defamatory statements. He did say it. This is what he said in the complaint, guys. This is what he was saying. He was saying, this is how he described himself in the complaint. He said he's a prophet, he's a dynamic speaker, like it describes that a has-been. That's pretty much what they said, right? Or maybe I'm reading into it too much. I was like, this seems a bit shady, or maybe that's just me. The complaint alleges that in May 2023, K posted videos on social media that plaintiff contends contain the following 6 defamatory statements. Number 1, the U.S. government found that you, the plaintiff, brought your $2 million mansion with only $10 in the bank. Number 2, these are statements that Tasha said. The MF and plaintiff tried to use me, K, to intimidate witnesses in a criminal case. Number 3, Foxy Inga Brown was the plaintiff's connect, and has been helping him with his so-called credit card fraud using MF's identity to get credit cards. She was the one that will tell him, the plaintiff, it's hot, it's cold, do this, do that. Number 4, so apparently, let me tell you what the plaintiff did. The church that he had wasn't a church that he bought. He knew the owners of the church. They needed to refinance their church, but couldn't do that, but didn't have the credit to do it. So what he did was told them to transfer the deed to his name. They were supposed to go get the church refinanced, get a lower rate. He'll give the church back to them at that rate. It was supposed to be an even exchange like that. But I guess they took too long to do the refinance or didn't work out. So what he did was evicted them out of his property because they signed the deed over to him. Now he evicted them right in the middle of his federal investigation, which would be considered fraud. Statement 5. The Ucking Justice Department is going to get a gag order on him, so he can't talk about a god dog thing online. The court put N-word. N-word, your MF and assets are frozen. So those are the statements that he sued her for and said it was defamatory. Them folks said I had to stop my entire work right now because I am dying. She said, Bishop said, see, she's lying, Your Honor. I had $9.89 in the bank, not $7. I rest my case. You guys really not gonna let me get through this. Oh, Jesus. Why you say that? You should, oh gosh. And of course I saw it. Oh, God. So did he steal a church or not? There's still a lawsuit with the church too. There's still a lawsuit with the church. The Sam said he stands 10 toes down. All right, let's see what else the judge had to say. Yellen has submitted the complete videos containing these statements. Plaintiff complains that the videos go beyond the face of the complaint, but his complaint directly quotes her statements and he cannot isolate snippets from their full context as the statements are incorporated by reference in their entirety. So basically, the plaintiff was trying to stop them from, I guess, turning over the whole videos and thought the court was just going to take little snippets because, you know, you could take it out of context if you take little snippets out. And so the court refers us to Chambers v. Time Warner for our authority over there in the Second Circuit. For Rule 12b-6 purposes, the complaint includes statements incorporated by reference or those that are integral in the complaint. Other relevant proceedings. In addition, the plaintiff counsel since granted motion to withdraw subsequent to the full briefing of defendant's motion to dismiss. 3 events have occurred that could bear on the determination of this motion. First, my docket reflects that Kibi has filed for protection under subchapter 5 of chapter 11 of the bankruptcy code in the Southern District of Florida. And then it has the case number. I have stayed the instant case as to her in light of that filing. Her proposed amended plan of reorganization indicates that the bankruptcy filing was the result of a defamation judgment obtained by the performer Cardi B against Kibi for around $4 million in the Northern District of Georgia. Then it has that case number. An amended schedule of creditors lists plaintiff's claim as $360,000 unliquidated and disputed claim. However, it does not appear that plaintiff has filed a proof of claim in the bankruptcy and the bar date passed nearly a year ago. Accordingly, the amended plan of reorganization does not provide for any distribution to him. Basically, unfortunately, even if you were going to win, you can't get anything. It doesn't include you. A hearing on the Chapter 11 plan is scheduled for September 24, 2024. Second, plaintiff has been sued by a religious organization known as Glory of God Global Ministries, Inc. for defrauding it out of its real estate by promising to obtain refinancing for its mortgage and forging deeds to convey the property to himself. See Glory of God Global versus Whitehead, quote, the deed fraud case, end quote. Third, plaintiff has been convicted and sentenced to 9 years custody for wire fraud, attempted extortion, and making false statements. See United States v. Whitehead over there in the Southern District of New York, and the judgment was June 17, 2024, and we'll refer to that as the federal criminal case. Again, plaintiff complains that I may not consider these other cases, but I can take notice of judicial proceedings in the public record. The plaintiff don't want me to refer to those cases, but I can do what I want to do. I can take judicial notice because it's a court case. And then they give Liberty Mutual v. Roch's Pork Packers, who stands for the proposition that a court may take judicial notice of a document filed in another court to establish the fact of such litigation and related filings. Let's go on. Let's get into the discussion of the defamation claims. 3 fundamental principles of defamation law controls the outcome of defendant's motion. First, New York has codified the common law fair reporting privilege. This privilege immunizes fair and true reporting of statements made in judicial proceedings regardless of proof of malice or negligence. Thus, to the extent Kibi was reporting on judicial proceedings, her remarks are not actionable, so long as her statements were, quote, a substantially accurate description of the allegation. And if you want some authority for that, because of the intellects that you are, you can go over there to Chalawaski v. Civiletti, and that's in the Second Department, a 2009 case. And it stands for the proposition, just to give you a summary while you're, perusing through the whole case. So I know you guys gonna go over there and try to look it up and make sure that it says what the judge says that it says. Statements protected by absolute privilege where the publications explicitly stated that they were describing the criminal proceedings. You guys hear that? When we report on these cases, that is fair. We're reporting. When I pull up documents, we are reporting on cases that have been filed. We have an absolute immunity for that. Okay. Second, truth is an absolute defense. Okay. If we are reporting the truth, it does not matter if you like the truth. It's a truth that you wish wasn't the truth. It's a truth that you wanted to hide. It's a truth that you think you have money to hide. It's a truth that you just feel like you didn't want us to talk about. It's still a defense, whether you like it or not. And that's in Tannerite Sports LLC versus NBC Universal News Group. And it says, to the extent Kibi's statements have been confirmed as true by plaintiff's criminal conviction, her remarks are not actionable. And you can go over there to Kennedy v. City of New York while you're looking up all those other cases. And that's a Westlaw. That's a non-published opinion, so it doesn't have a direct site. But it's on page 13 over there in the Southern District of New York, where it says, assertions of falsity founder on the fact that the alleged statement concerned events to which plaintiff was ultimately convicted. Third, the judge gives you another reasoning why you can beat these defamation lawsuits, just in case the first 2 went over your head. We're going to give you another reason why. Make sure you hit that like button. It says, under New York law, expressions of opinion by a defendant are not actionable, even if those opinions cast aspersions on the person who is the subject of those opinions. So just because I say, like I'm saying Kevin Hart ain't funny, you can't be trying to sue somebody like me, because that's just my opinion. You get what I'm saying? I think that's a good analogy. Yeah, that's just my opinion. And go see Gansky v. Minich. I know I'm tearing these little names up, and I apologize. 480 Federal Sub, and that's over there in the Southern District of New York. And that's a 2020 case for those of you that are doing all of your research. Applying these principles here, plaintiff has failed to state a claim. So the judge laid out what the laws are and then said, we're going to apply this to all of these different claims that you're saying. And we're saying that you did not state a proper claim in order to sue for defamation. Plaintiff's first alleged defamatory statement that he, quote, bought a $2 million mansion with only $10 in the bank, end quote, is a fair report of the indictment in a federal criminal case, which alleged that In an effort, so then the court took a little snippet from the indictment where it says, in an effort to obtain a mortgage in excess of 1.3 million to fund Whitehead's purchase of his home in Paramus, Whitehead altered bank statements to indicate that the account had an average balance in excess of $2 million when in fact during that time period AMS LLC had an average ending balance of less than $10. So that statement that you guys made where you was like, no, he had $9.58, it was less than $10. Tasha actually gave him more money in the bank than what he even had. You know, like she gave him more money in the bank than what he even had. Let's go on. So the court said this is straight up from the indictment. Similarly, plaintiff's fourth alleged defamatory statement that he tricked the Glory of God ministry out of its property is a fair summary of the complaint in the deed fraud case, which alleged, among other things, that at all times material to these presents, plaintiff, Glory of God, believed, based on representations made by defendants, that she was refinancing or modifying her mortgage so that she could obtain and make more affordable payments. In reality, defendant Lamor Whitehead acted in collaboration and connivance with defendants and other known and unknown conspired and schemed to defraud plaintiff and willfully and knowingly devised the scheme and filed. And then it has, the clerk's information of the deed artifice to defraud and obtain plaintiff's money and property by means of false and fraudulent pretenses, and in furtherance thereof, illegally and fraudulently obtained appointment to act as trustee of the 5904 Foster Avenue Trust, and would be forced through illegal self-help to vacate her church building soon thereafter. Baby, that was the biggest mumble jumble. I don't really like that paragraph, but it was, they have a different attorney over at Glory God. But that was a complaint. I read it like, huh? What are they saying exactly? But apparently how Tasha interpreted this is how the judge said it should have been interpreted. So I'm going to go ahead with the federal judge that has a lifetime appointment on his interpretation of what this mumble jumble legal language, I guess is what it was supposed to be, says. And he said how Tasha explained it was just what that said. So, hold on. So, yeah. Let's go on. Let's keep it moving. Plaintiff's second, fourth, and fifth challenge statements, when viewed in context, are statements of opinion and therefore not actionable. As the second alleged defamatory statement that plaintiff, quote, tried to use, end quote, Kibi to, quote, intimidate a witness in a case, end quote, the entire video of her statement explains her view. She stated in the video that plaintiff encouraged her to publish stories critical of a government informant in the criminal case. Plaintiff does not allege Kibi's statements that he tried to do that is false. All he is complaining about is her conclusion that he did that to, quote, to use her to intimidate a witness in a case, end quote. That is her opinion of his motive. It is not subject to a defamation claim. Returning for a moment to plaintiff's fourth challenge statement, that his actions with Glory of God ministry, quote, could be considered fraud, end quote, that is not only a fair report of the deed fraud case, but Kibi's own opinion of what it might mean. It is an opinion and therefore not actionable. The fifth challenge statement that the government, quote, is going to get a gag order, end quote, was Kibi's predictions about what the government might do in light of plaintiff's public condemnation of the investigation against him. It was speculation, not a statement of fact. And therefore, her opinion of what might happen in the future is what? Not actionable. Turning to the final two allegedly defamatory statements. The plaintiff's quote assets are frozen and that he was involved in quote so-called credit fraud, end quote, by using people's identity to get credit cards, end quote. These appear substantially true. As to the latter, he had previously been convicted in state court of 15. Somebody put 15 in the chat. 15, 15. 15 counts of identity theft stemming from his use of, you guessed it, credit cards in other people's names. See People v. Whitehead over there in Suffolk County, and that was a 2008 case. And we went over that transcript. As to the former, the federal criminal case includes a forfeiture order and a restitution order totaling nearly $200,000. And the court did not impose a fine because it determined that plaintiff could not afford it. That may not be quite, quote, freezing defendant's assets, but it is a substantially true statement of the results of his criminal conviction. See Child v. Lewis over there in the Second Circuit, 2014. Affirming dismissal where, quote, statements could have produced no worse an effect on the mind of the reader than the truth. In sum, none of the statements plaintiff alleges are defamatory. They do not state a claim upon which relief may be granted. Let me see what you guys have to say in the chat before I move on to the last. See, this court got right to the point, okay? Went through, told you guys exactly what the defenses were and how it affected, how it applied to each one of the alleged defamatory statement, and was like, this is not a Cardi B situation. No. And yeah. Why do they think they won't get caught? Something in their mind is altered. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know. He was around here running amok for a long time, and now it seems like once the feds came down on him, now it seems like things are moving on these civil cases that have literally been sitting there. The ones in state court have been sitting there for like 2 years. And most of them, they have filed these motions to dismiss as well and have not gotten responses. So you know what? That's not very nice, Van Tran. That's not nice. You're supposed to pray for people. Isn't that the right thing to do? No? Okay. Let me see. Who did I miss? Shout out to the lead attorney. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you so much. No. You guys got more laughing emojis than anything. I'm just like, Van Tran is like the only one talking out here. Like, you guys don't have anything to say. All of this good legal stuff, and you guys don't have much to say. What is going on here? Yeah. So I just, Kevin Hart, see the difference with the Kevin Hart situation, because I predict this is going to go in the same way with the Kevin Hart situation as well. If Kevin Hart loses, he's already got a couple of those cases dismissed against Tasha K. If he loses, well, he's already lost one claim. And the way California is, if you lose one claim, you have to pay attorney fees. So you have to be careful when you file these defamation lawsuits, because a lot of them have, and we went over this several times, the anti-SLAPP. And when you have the anti-SLAPP statute, in California, it's mandatory attorney fees. It's not, a lot of times with attorney fees, it's discretionary for the court. But when you have a statute that says you shall pay attorney fees, then you have to. And so he's going to end up paying her attorney fees. So I get it. People get mad at what people say about them, but everything is not a lawsuit. It's just not. Everything, you can't sue for everything. And so this time Tasha was like, I'm about to go get somebody that specializes in this area because she says she is not about to stop talking. So that's that. Yes, they were on it. They was definitely on it in this opinion. It was very, very brief. It was 8 pages. We went through it quite quickly. We only been on for 35 minutes and we about done with it. He said, Dev said, right now the little leprechaun is being comforted by his monkey. 504. Hey, I know he's fuming. He's whistling like a tea kettle through that side tooth gap. Oh, Tasha has talked about his side too, but he didn't put that in the complaint. I guess he figured that in the response, Tasha's attorney probably would have taken a picture of his face and probably would have like put the picture in the motion like that is his too. So he didn't even try to argue that point. Oh man. They are using courts or lawsuits to harass and bully. A lot of them do. No, they really do. We talked about that. I think a lot of people don't have money to fight and these bigger. That's why you have to know what you're getting into too. But that's why I appreciate this judge laying out. So maybe some people that don't know, you just think because your feelings are hurt is not a reason to file a defamation lawsuit. That's not how this works. That's not how this works at all. So, anyways, right of privacy. So that was another claim that he made against Tasha and I guess her company. Plaintiff has also asserted a claim under New York Civil Rights Law, Section 51. That statute prohibits the use of a person's quote name, portrait, picture, likeness, or voice for advertising purposes without consent. That is not what's going on here at all. That's just how I feel like the judge was thinking in their mind when they said it. Like that ain't what this is. As the quarrel between plaintiff and Kibi has nothing to do with Kibi trying to get a commercial advantage by misappropriating plaintiff's name or image. Kibi used plaintiff's image in reporting on a subject of public interest. The case is made clear such use does not violate the statute. See, for example, EdMe versus Internet Brands Inc. That is over there in the Eastern District of New York, 2013. And then he just says the claim is therefore dismissed. That's it. That's all. The Honorable Brian M. Cogan said defendant's motion to dismiss is granted. The case remains stayed as to defendant Kibi pending further proceeding in the bankruptcy case. The stay shall be implemented by administratively closing this case subject to reopening upon conclusion of the bankruptcy case. So basically, this one is against Yellen. But the same thing is going to apply to Tasha. It's just she was in bankruptcy at this time. And therefore, because she was in bankruptcy, every case of state was stayed against her, including this one. So they can't do anything against her anyway. But the same is going to literally apply to her whenever she's out of bankruptcy. So that's that. The judge has spoken. Any questions? She says she can truly celebrate a fade in the water today. Robbing Peter to pay Paul is wild. He wasn't even paying anybody. That's the problem. You talking about Whitehead? He was just getting money and doing what he wanted to do. He wasn't. All of his stuff was in foreclosure. His house was in foreclosure. His property in Connecticut was in foreclosure. He had his car. Like, what was he paying for exactly? He wasn't even paying nobody. He was just taking out loans to fund his lifestyle, is what it looked like according to the trial that I saw. But the woman he chose said Ponder should be embarrassed filing that case. I told you the elite diva said Tasha said, fool me once. She ain't even say shame on you the second time. She said it ain't gonna happen. It is not gonna happen. So yeah. I will see if people gonna be just as loud about this as they were on the other cases. You gotta be fair with the wins and the losses. That's the only fair way to report, in my opinion. Name change 412 times. Top of the boot said he was robbing Peter and robbing Paul. That is probably a more accurate statement. Oh my gosh. So some of you guys were asking about remember the lady who kind of started all this stuff, who spearheaded this, is Miss Aunt Pauline Anderson. She is the one that made us start really looking into this case in the first place. Well, Pauline Anderson is one of the ones that started them even looking, because that they contacted the feds when they got their money taken, and they started really looking into them. Then of course you had Brandon Belmonte, who also got into this as well. She has, I'm gonna put the link in here. She has did a GoFundMe. Look at her. She did do a asking for some help because he took her money. For those of you that were asking about it, she said, "Hello, my name is Pauline Anderson, and I'm reaching out for your support during an incredibly challenging time in my life. I recently became a victim of a devastating fraud by Bishop Lamor Whitehead, who defrauded me out of $90,000, my entire life savings that I had painstakingly set aside for my dream of buying a home." For those familiar with the case, Bishop Lamor Whitehead, known for his flashy lifestyle and luxurious taste, was recently convicted of multiple charges, including fraud against me. Prosecutors revealed that he promised to help me purchase a home and invest the rest of my savings in his real estate ventures. Instead, he used the money to fund his extravagant lifestyle, buying luxury items and clothing. This crime has not only left me financially devastated, but also taken a severe toll on my emotional and physical well being. The stress and anxiety from losing my savings have been overwhelming, affecting my health and the well being of my family. I am 58 years old, and after working tirelessly as an international nurse to support my family and have save for the future, this betrayal has shattered my dreams. All this happened while I was experiencing acute illness called pulmonary embolism. I still have small clots in my lungs that I have not fully recovered from. My family has also been deeply affected. My son, who has been tirelessly working to build his real estate business to support me, my 77-year-old mother, and my sister, who is battling a brain tumor, are all struggling with the emotional and financial fallout of this fraud. We have spent over $50,000 in legal fees in an attempt to recover the stolen funds, plus over $30,000 in penalties for withdrawing the money early, further draining our savings account and leaving us with mounting expenses totaling over $180,000 lost. Despite the hardship, I remain hopeful and resilient. I am determined to rebuild my life and achieve the dreams of home ownership that I have held onto for so long. Your support can help me cover the legal costs, recover some of the stolen funds, and get back on my feet. Every donation, no matter how small, will make a significant difference in my journey toward recovery. Thank you for taking the time to read my story, and for any support you can provide. Your generosity and kindness mean the world to me and my family. So I'm going to let me see if I could post this. So many of you, because her and her son, they were the one that testified the longest out of everyone, and I believe they were spearheading a lot of this. And many of you guys were asking about ways that you could support. So I'm just going to put that in the chat for you guys. Put it in chat. And shout out to the Andersons who said they had been in the bushes the whole time while we were talking about them. And that is their story for those of you that don't know. You guys are awful. This man is in prison for 9 years. You guys are talking about sending cases of lip gloss. He might be hungry. He lost a lot of weight. Last time I saw him in court, he did lose a lot of weight. I mean, his little jumpsuit was falling off. He was all struggly. He didn't, they ain't had no haircuts. He had like BB shots and cowboy knots all over his face. I mean, he probably isn't thinking about lip gloss right now. He probably thinking about some ramen noodles or something. Some honey buns, some nourishment. Yeah, it was very sad early morning vibes. It really, really was. Somebody asked, what happened to the mansion in New Jersey? What happens when you don't pay for stuff? And if you get out of mortgage, this is a quiz. If you take out a loan for a home and the house is the collateral and you fail to pay on that loan for 2 years, but you're living in the home, what do you think happens to that home? It starts with the F and ends with the closure. That's what happens. And that's what happened to that house. That house was auctioned off, I think, like May 30th. And it was sold to the plaintiff, I think. Yep, he lost it. Just like the building in Connecticut, he was holding them up for like 2 years, knowing it wasn't no way to even pay it. Yeah. Somebody said, what happened? Libertina said, what happened to his wife? I don't think she uses his last name anymore, or does she? Let's look up his wife right quick. I like authority before I just say any old thing. Let's look up. What is her name? Lady Asia. Let's look her up. Lady Asia. Is that her name? I am Lady Asia Champion. Let's see what Lady Asia has been up to since her husband has been incarcerated. Let's look here. This is Lady Asia, okay? She said, I am Lady Asia Champion. She has Asia K. Dorsries. I don't even know how to even say her last name. But yeah, it's not Whitehead. She took that off, I think, before he even went. And look at her. She out here living her best life. Lady Asia needs to do a ebook on how to deal with a no good husband in the public and still be unbothered and handle your business, because that's what she has been doing the entire time. She has not missed a breakfast of champion since all of this stuff happened. Look at her. She out here booked and busy. She got a gala lunch in. She just had a birthday. Look, she said grow in grace. She just had a birthday. Flourish. Look at her. Look at her. Got her hair did. Oh, she got the little short bob over here. Look at her. She done got a new do. This look like she in a hotel room. So she out here traveling. She still got her, what's that? That's still her Chanel brooches. She ain't missed a day, okay? What is she doing? She's out here still getting this breakfast of champion money. That's what she's out. Look at her. This what she doing. Oh, they out here doing trips. This is the second Champions road trip. They went on this road trip April 8th. Okay, she out here going on road trips. What else she up to? Girl, what you up to? Look at her. She over here with a whole slew of people. Look at her. Up, this got Whitehead on it though. It got Asia Dorsey's Whitehead. This was March 22nd. So this was, maybe she was still allowing this around the same times before he was about to go on trial, because this is about his trial time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she got Whitehead here too. Let me see if she got Whitehead on these top ones. Let's investigate. So yeah, she's still here every morning. Come on in, come on up. So right here on the more recent one, she just got Bishop Asia. Okay. But while her husband was out here in these streets still on bond, she still used Whitehead. Okay. But she didn't come to court not one day. She did not come to the sentencing. Yep, she got Whitehead on here too. He was out. These are all the ones that he was out. So as soon as he was off the block, it looks like she dropped that Whitehead like a hot potato. Cynthia A said, did she really think his money was legit? I don't know. I don't even know that lady. I don't even know. Keontae Cartier said, oh, she embarrassed by her line thieving husband. She sure enjoyed the spoils stuff. How do you really feel? My goodness. Keontae, how you really feel? 504 says Shirley Todd. Yes, I'm gonna have to agree. Shirley Strawberry has also been an unbothered person, living her best life, and she's not letting anybody see her sweat. And that's what I think Asia has done. She's not letting anybody see her sweat. What else she got going? She got the baby and stuff sitting on her lap. Mm-hmm. Oh, she got Whitehead on here too. So yeah, while he was out, it looked like she was using Whitehead. But as soon as they said locked up, won't let me out, she immediately got on there and was like, Drew. Every time somebody said fill out an application, she was like, my name is Bishop Asia. See, she got Bishop Asia on here too in the chamber conference 2024. She has Bishop Asia on there as well. So yeah, she wasn't letting anybody know for sure, yay or nay, whether she was with him or not before he went to jail. Then once he went to jail, she was like, Psh. She was like, nope, I'm changing my last name. First order of business, take Whitehead off my name. Elsie said, Bishop of what church? Leaders of Tomorrow. That's y'all didn't hear the judge say. Y'all didn't see what the judge said. You just got in here. The judge said, plaintiff, who was formerly a high-profile pastor of an entity known as Leaders of Tomorrow International Ministries, Inc. Plaintiff, who refers to himself as, quote, Bishop Whitehead, is a self-described dynamic preacher, prophet, teacher, community leader, and entrepreneur Negro. No, let's just say entrepreneur. Whose entrepreneurial activities include commercial real estate investing. That's what the judge said. That's what she said. Self-described. God, that's why I said, Pam, you are funny without trying to be. I'm trying to be serious here so we can learn about this defamation here. 504 said she heard that clank clank and broke free. No, that's right. She said no rider died 2024. But he did have family that was there, at the time of sentencing. He did have family that was present. He had his son was there, and he had his mama. He had, I don't know, somebody, I think it was Mr. Anderson told me it was a church member. He was pointing out who the people were that was there or whatnot, that he knew that was there. But Asia wasn't there. The current wife was not present. That's it. Have a great evening, Van Tran. Thank you so much for coming on and participating in the chat. So, anyways, wonder if she's gonna file for divorce soon. Child, we probably never know. Listen, she'll probably do that so discreetly, nobody will never know. But listen, if she comes out with a story, she's gonna have a story to tell. Like how she was able to keep him calm. He didn't really bash her in public. She figured out a way, I think, to keep him. That doesn't mean she wasn't going through hell behind the scenes, but she found ways to keep him like not to flip out, because he does have a temper. If you were at that trial and they had video recordings of him and how he was acting towards Brandon Belmonte, one of them, he cussed him out so bad. He talked about him talking about his wife had another man's personal business in his mouth. The balls was on her eyeballs. I mean, it was crazy. I said, Bishop. This how I was at court. I was like, Bishop. He was going off on that recording. I think everybody just looked. When it was over, he even looked like this, like a little kid that just got in trouble. He was like, but everybody was like, clutching their invisible pearls. It was like, what did he just say? Oh my God. You know how he act, how he treats people?
You's a clown, that's what you. Why don't you call me a cardboard bishop now? Huh? You tough? Call me a cardboard bishop now.
He's not gonna call you that.
Huh? Look on Facebook Live. Call me a cardboard bishop now. You clown. That's what you are. You clown. That's what you are. Why don't you say what you say on Facebook Live, sucker?
No.
He got a bit of a temper, you know what I'm saying? He could use some anger management while he's in there. They have a lot of classes. I heard they got Pilates, meditation. So he can go get some training, to help with his temper, because he clearly has a temper. All minds clear. So again, a quick recap. Tasha K with Yelling Entertainment won. They actually won the case against Whitehead. She has won a defamation lawsuit, and I'm sure whenever the bankruptcy case is lifted, the stay is lifted, she'll win it too, because the judge basically laid it out why it's not defamation. Judge probably could have just dismissed it, but I guess because it's a stay, he can't. I keep saying he can't dismiss it because it's a stay because of the bankruptcy. He's the bishop of zoos and whams now. What is going on with Krishan? That is a good question. I never talked about her over here. I talked about her on the backup page on the Hood and Ghetto channel, where I just talk about ghetto foolishness. I think I am going to, because I got a little bit intrigued. If you guys watch Phone Calls from Prison, I did get intrigued with that Wade guy. I was like, okay, his sentencing comes up at the end of August, so I may kind of recap his case if you guys want me to do that. I may end up doing that because those phone calls are really wild. So I do want to go over that. But Lisa said married to a fool like that was certainly hell on earth. Oh yeah, she walked on eggshells. I'm sure. That's why she wasn't going to change her name. I heard, of course, I can't verify. This is all gossip. This is all hearsay. Probably hearsay within hearsay because somebody probably told somebody who told me and DM me. But like he would do things like she would be scheduled to preach somewhere. Now they were living in separate households. We know that to be a fact. That came out during trial. She would be there as a special guest speaker and he would do things like just show up. And she would say, like, I know at one time, particularly that someone told me about, she like, my husband just walked in the door. Everyone, please stand up and I want to acknowledge my husband, Bishop, the chief apostle, Bishop Lamor Whitehead. So she knew how to keep that ego, stroked a little bit. And they probably clapped and stuff so that he wouldn't interrupt, like things that she was doing. Because a lot of her stuff, when people book you to speak, especially if they pay you an honorarium, part of that honorarium is you're going to have to post that this event is occurring. So he would know where she was going. And I think he purposefully, in my opinion, I think that he showed up on purpose as an intimidation factor. But she knew how to handle herself. It was never anything wild online. When things happen, she like would let him know when people DM'd her and all of that. Like she was really not, she probably knew him and she tried to keep things as peaceable as she could. They are. Grace, Mercy, and Save said these made up titles. They definitely are. Because you a bishop and you barely even have flock to be a pastor. How you a bishop? Yeah. Yeah, I heard the story about locking when she attempted to leave, he locked her in the house. I heard a few different stories. I could never verify them. I couldn't even get where the police allegedly came out there. I never could verify that when I tried to get information like from the police stations and stuff. So I didn't even talk about that because unless I could verify it, I don't talk about it. It said that's where she belongs on the Hood channel. I don't have a Cash App daddy. You know what? I'm free to be me. Said she's a much better preacher than him, though. I have heard that she is. And she does have a following. She's like every morning, I come on in, I see you guys. She's very consistent. Like she's very consistent. She's faithful to what she does. I guess she's done this for the last 3 or 4 years. 5 days a week. She's never missed a day, even when all this stuff was happening. She would do stuff in her car until I guess she got her own place and set it up. She never missed a day. She has always been very, very faithful to doing this Breakfast of Champions. But yeah. Give him credit for his 12 members. All right. He ain't had 12 people that was there at that sentencing, though, so I don't know. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for coming in and hanging with your girl, Patty. Thank you so much for the super chat. You said, come on in. I see you, Pam. Thank you so much. I see you back. Ray Mail, thank you for becoming a member. I'm going to do a membership live tomorrow, and I'm gonna do it on the divorce with Shirley Strauber because I've never really talked about the divorce for real. So I'm gonna do the divorce aspects on what I think my opinion is on why Ernest decided not to even participate in this action. So I'm gonna do that, and that'll be what I do my membership. So if you have not become a member, go ahead and join. But until then, make sure you guys hit this like button. Thank you guys for coming in and supporting. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And you guys have a great evening.
Bye.